We're back into the Andrew Leedham Unstoppable Self-Confidence book. And we're in chapter 13, making our progress. And the incredible power of authenticity is what we're going to talk about today. Last week we talked about being your authentic self and not apologizing for who you are, right? And to finally be that person you've always wanted to be, right? Because I think what we recognize, right, is that society and things that we learn along the way, society sort of has an image for who we're supposed to be or what life's supposed to look like, right? Or when we're supposed to get married, who we're supposed to get married to, and all these things that just add so much stress that's not necessary, right? It's unnecessary stress because this is my journey, right? This is my life. I'm not living for anybody else but for me. But we can recognize how society and these structures and these things can influence whether or not we choose to do certain things, whether we choose certain careers, whether we will move to a new place, and all this other stuff, right? It makes it complicated, very complicated. And we tend to question, who are we living for? For what? For why? So it starts out with this quote. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? Your playing small doesn't serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. As we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others, right? This one part in here is where I want to focus, right? There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so other people won't feel insecure around you. Now, what does this mean? Have you ever been in a room or ever been in conversations and people are talking about maybe their issues or their problems, right? And after you hear that, even though you have been going through some trouble, you are silent. You won't share because you've now compared what you're going through to what your other person's going through, and you're like, oh, that's not really, it doesn't really rise to that level, right? So let me, sit here with my mouth shut because, wasn't as bad as that story I just heard, right? So we kind of refuse to share our own truths with people, our own struggles with people because, oh my God, it wasn't like that. I mean, that sounded like something out of a movie. I don't have anything to compare with that, right? I'm just having a tough time because of, a couple of things that I feel like, I'm not making advances or I'm not, doing better or whatever. And that's the wrong approach, right? That's the wrong approach. Right? We tend to think about people who talk about themselves or whatever. They're very self-absorbed, right? They're conceited, right? Narcissists, perhaps, maybe get mingled into that. But wait a minute. Why can't J-Lo go around and say that she's, the next best thing since sliced bread? I mean, J-Lo is pretty good, ain't she? I mean, why can't she go around and toot her horn without, and then there'd be obviously critics in the room, right, to knock you down. But let me just tell you one thing. We can rest assured that the critics will always be around. Those naysayers, those people who don't want you to succeed or don't want to see you happy will always be around no matter what. No matter how, a big of a superstar you might be or whatever. We're all going to have those people. So what happens is we tend to just not say anything at all, right? We tend not to say what we're good at because we recognize that other people might be better and we're staying humble, as we call it. But no, That's not being humble. That's not. Because you got to call it when you see it, you got to call it out, right? You have to speak it into existence. And we're not doing that because we're too busy worrying about what other people will think about it, or they'll think that we're conceited, or that we're tooting our horn and we really shouldn't be, type of thing. But there'll always be naysayers out there. Always. Authenticity is the opposite of people pleasing. It is the antidote to people pleasing. Actually, it means being authentic even when, most importantly, when others disapprove of who you are. Yeah. Being my authentic self, right? Saying what is true, what is fact, what I feel. Okay? Does not mean that somebody out there on the outside can take that away from me. But they do. And they can. And why do we give these people such power to take our words out of our mouth, right? To not allow us to say that we're good at something or whatever because we have to be humble. No. It's wrong. The other piece too, right? Like I'm in a relation. Let's say we're in a relationship, right? And you cook dinner. And you make dinner and whatever, and you put it on the plate, and I eat everything but one of the side dishes. I'm picking around it. Right? How are you feeling in that moment? Like, just think about how you would feel in your mind. What are the thoughts going through your head? Oh my God, he doesn't like it. Oh my God, he doesn't whatever. Oh my God, he doesn't like this. What's going through your head? Like, you're stressing out. Like, do you like it or not? Like, why won't you eat it? You type of thing, right? And you start to get angry at me for moving around the plate and not eating that one side dish. Is it a problem that I don't like it? I mean, we're not going to always like the same things. Is it okay that I don't like that, but you do? Sure it is. But how did you interpret it in the moment? How did you interpret it in the moment? You interpreted it that you were inadequate, that you couldn't cook a meal that was worthy of something that I would like. But that doesn't mean that the whole meal was terrible. I don't eat green beans. I don't like them. I don't want them. Fine. Right? But that experience puts a stain in you. Now, did you respond the right way? No. Right? Because anyone else would say, well, wait a minute. Okay? Well, it kind of makes sense, right? Things are subjective. Food is subjective. Some people like octopus, some people don't. I certainly don't. I don't want that on my plate. I'll freak out. Have I tried it? No, but I still don't want it. I don't want it. Don't want it. So, think about how now me being authentic, right? Saying that I didn't like it, and you get your feelings hurt. Do you recognize how I would probably have just ate the green beans for just keeping the peace as opposed to being my authentic self and honest with you? Would you have preferred me to lie? What is it? Like, what do you want from me? I'm being my authentic self, but when I'm my authentic self and it doesn't coincide with you, somehow you're inadequate. But that's not what I said. It's not what I said. So we really need to think about that situation a little bit deeper, right? Because it happens all the time. And now I feel it's like I can't be my true self or honest with you moving forward, so I'm going to continually be evasive so that you don't get your feelings hurt. You see how this stuff, you see how this already goes badly right away with a dinner, right? Because that's now dinner, but then it goes to, oh, I don't like that person you hang out with, right? So now I'm going to hide from you when I do, right? Because you can't accept the fact that I have a different opinion than you on something. That flexibility is important, right? So you can see how that can get dicey. You can see how that can get dicey. I'm sure you can. So I'm going to read this verbatim on 293 because I think it's important. It says, we are taught the toxic, wicked belief that letting your light shine, that giving full rein to your talents and gifts is showing off. This is horrible, nasty, deceitful teaching that causes untold damages. Untold damages, right? So we're taught that it's toxic to toot your own horn, to share what it is that you're good at, what you enjoy, what you do well, right? Because you maybe make somebody else feel less than or whatever. So you've trained yourself to just, you have a talent and you show people it and they're like, oh my God, this is like people's sketchbooks or whatever. Oh my God, this is amazing, right? I can't tell you how many times people will share stuff with me. I'll be like, oh my God, that's so cool. And they're like, nah. I mean, why can't you relish in that? Like, do you not like to accept, or you have trouble accepting compliments, or like, why aren't you confident about this certain thing? You were confident enough to show me, but yet you will fall too short from, tooting your horn after that, right? But why? Why? We need to speak about this stuff. We need to say what is fact. So consider for a moment how insane this way of thinking is, yet most of the world accepts it unconsciously. You are expected to allow yourself to become much less, to do with much less, to live with much less, to enjoy much less, to have much less happiness in order to avoid the risk that someone else might not want you to be all of who you are. So with each interaction causes more and more people to become and have less, right? So every time you have these interactions, you walk away having less. So pretty soon, 99% of the world lives to a tiny fraction of their potential because of fear that someone might not like you for being all of who you are, despite the fact that the world needs you to be all of who you are. To unleash your talents and gifts in the service of those around you, to give and contribute to your highest level, not your lowest, to give the world your best, not some half-baked, stunted version of who you are. Imagine what the world would be like if 99% of the people lived to their highest potential and lifted those up around them to do the same. Imagine how many problems would simply cease to exist in this world. Imagine if you stepped outside of this stifling thought pattern and set those around you free. Imagine. Isn't that worth the risk of intimidating or upsetting someone who would prefer that you played small? I mean, it's a loaded little passage that I've highlighted here. It's very loaded. I mean, think about it. I mean, first think about whether or not you do that, right? Think about whether or not you gloat or you share your things that you're really good at, right? Think about that. And then think about what I've just read. So how can you be your authentic self if you're playing small? How could you be, right? So how can we get people to be comfortable with tooting your horn, right? With sharing what you're good at, the skills and things of that nature. Like when you go on an interview, right, you should talk with great degree of confidence what you're good at, right? There's nothing wrong with that. The naysayers, the people who wish they could be half of what you are the clowns that are trying to pull you down. And guess what? 9 times out of 10, they silence you. They win. They win. And they are nothing. Nothing. They're meaningless. They don't pay my bills. They don't do anything. None of it. None of it. So why play it small? Why not share and tell people what you're good at and be confident about it? As opposed to just saying, somebody else can do it better. I know it's pretty cool, but, some of these talents that you have, right? You undervalue them. You enjoy them, you love to do them, you whatever, but when it comes to exposing them in the outside, unless you're doing a craft fair of some kind, right, to sell your stuff that you're creating at home, you just do it for yourself, right? Some of us don't even share our talents with other people. I mean, we just do it on our own. Like, people don't even know that we could do X, Y, or Z, right? Or we can create this stuff. Right? We just do it for ourselves or our family. And that's it. Right? We don't think much about that. Right? It's something we've always done. Right? We water it down. Why? Why do we water it down? I don't understand that. So what's the remedy, really? What's the remedy to all this? It's really about resetting your relationship with yourself. That's what it is. And I'm going to read this. Putting yourself first doesn't mean you don't care about others. It means you're smart enough to know that you cannot help others if you don't help yourself. I can't tell you how many people that I've met with in life coaching and so forth, and I'm like, you need to put yourself first. Oh, I can't. I've got kids. I'm this. I'm taking care of my aging parent. Oh, I can't do that. I can't put myself first. Oh my God. Why? You came before them, before any of them. It was just you, right? So what do you mean? Why? Why aren't you putting yourself first? That's what matters the most, right? How you think of yourself, how you feel with yourself. Can you sit in silence? Remember in the beginning of this book, talked about whether or not, right, those people who are beyond this world can sit in 10 seconds of absolute silence and not one thought cross their brain. One thought. 10 seconds. I challenge you to do that. I do. Because we're all guilty of that, right? We are too focused on everything else around us that we can't even sit for 10 seconds in our own thought with a blank thought without thinking about, the lunch, this, I gotta do that. 10 seconds. 10 seconds. That's it. That's all you need to do. Get yourself to sit in silence for 10 seconds, and then you're halfway there. Halfway there. But putting yourself first doesn't mean that you're putting others last, right? It just means that every decision that I make, everything and commitment that I agree to, everything that I say yes to, right? Because all of us here are guilty of being unable to say the word no, which is a lot easier than saying yes. It's one less letter. Come on. It's easy to say no. I mean, you say no to your kids every day, 20 million times a day, right? But when it comes to, oh, could you do this for me? Could you do that for me? Could you do this for me? Sure, yes, why? Yeah. Until you have now prioritized other people's responsibilities before your own, and now you're screwed. Now you're screwed. Now what? Now you have zero time for the stuff that you need to do because you're busy doing the things for other people. And you know what? They're smart. They're winning in that moment, just so you know. They're winning because they know you'll do it. They know that you'll do it well. And they're making you do it because you will. And that's that. Because you will. But how would you relate your relationship? How would you rate, scale of 1 to 10, 10 being amazing, right? How would you rate your relationship with yourself? How would you rate it? Anyone a 10? Maybe a 5, 6, 7? Where were you at? Where are you at? Here's why it matters. That's why it matters. The quality of your relationship with yourself defines your ability to actually be yourself. Okay? The more you respect, like, cherish, and love yourself, the more will actually, the more you'll be who you're really supposed to be. Right? So ask yourself that question. Do you love yourself? Do you love who you are? Do you love yourself? Is there a problem with loving yourself? Because this our society has really confused everybody. Like, right? So like you have people, whatever, oh, they're infatuated with themselves, and that's like a negative. But you know, everything that you read about, you know, confidence and esteem and everything else, I mean, these people love themselves. Does that make them trash? I mean, because they love themselves? I mean, I know like there's other people who go, you know, to the extreme. They look in the mirror. They do these stupid little ducky lip things, you know, like I've done before. But, I mean, hey, so what? I mean, let them love themselves. Let them love them. Why does it bother you? Why does it bother people? Because they wish that they can love themselves the same? They wish that they can look at themselves in the mirror and feel that turned on by themselves? I don't know. I mean, you know, what is it? Right? What is it? What is it? Do you love yourself? Do you love who you are? Do you feel excited about being you? Would you be comfortable telling people that you love yourself? Would you? Would you? Would you feel proud to tell the world that you genuinely and deeply love you? In the same way that you would feel proud to say that you love a partner, your family, your children. Could you do it? If not, have you stopped to consider why? Have you thought about why? Why can't I do this? So we are taught that completely and unconditionally loving another is wonderful. It's something to aspire to. It's something we need to do. It's like basic principle, rule number 1, right? Love somebody else. Yet we are also taught that feeling the same way about ourselves is somehow bad, right? Oh, you're self-absorbed, right? Yeah. That loving yourself is somehow vain, arrogant, conceited, and even narcissistic. Oh boy. And so most people are desperately uncomfortable with giving themselves love because of the false fear, because of a lie that was told to you, right? That it's not natural to love who you are, right? It's not natural. You got to love somebody else, right? You got to get married, have babies, blah, blah, blah. Is it a wicked lie? And it completely misunderstands what true love is. And I agree with this. because My Vice 86, that's my name here on TikTok, but you know that we have the organization, right? Self-Love Club 86. That's what it is. And so I, at a very, I would say a couple years ago, right? I didn't love me at all. I never did. I didn't even know what that felt like, right? I was too busy looking in the mirror or picking myself apart, right? It's all a matter of perception and stuff, right? Comparing myself to others. It was difficult. It was hard. It wasn't easy, right? And somebody said to me one day, have you ever loved yourself? And I sat there dumbfounded, what do you mean love myself, right? No, I don't think you should try. You should try. Okay. Well, I don't know what that looks like. How the hell do you do that? Well, I can say to you now, 3 years later, 4 years later, right, that it does work. That it is important to spend that quality time with yourself and revisit who you are and recognize that your experiences in life have taken you off course of who you really are. So if you really are about looking for your authentic self and your purpose in life and your passion and so forth, you need to give up the rest of that. And you just need to really make it simple and focus on you. Nobody else. Nobody else. Right? And through our life coaching program and through our small groups and everything else that we do with the Self-Love Club, right? Everything is centered on how people can love themselves, right? Because we feel that when you love yourself, there's nothing that can stop you. That's the truth. Nothing can stop you because nobody else matters in this moment. Only person that matters is you and what you believe and your perspective of who you are. And it doesn't matter, okay? We're in a day and age right now that you can find the opposite of what is fact. You can find research that is against something that most people are saying is wrong, right? We can find the answer that we are looking for, the doomsday answers. Just use Google. Read unreputable sources. You will find the answer to validate your thoughts, no matter what, in this day and age, right? So you cannot sit there and say, right, that you're in the right frame of mind because we don't know. Nobody knows if you're in the right frame of mind or not because you could just be validating your thoughts that are being, being messed up by the world and everything else, right? I mean, touch yourself, pinch. Are you alive? Hello? Are you alive? Are you alive? Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Do you love you? And are you willing to do what it takes to love yourself, right? So self-love is the source of all other loves, and we know that. It is by far the most superior of all love, self-love, right? A lot of times, if you're one of those people who are in those dating cycles and you're always finding trash, right? You're never finding anybody with any substance. Everything seems to be a train wreck from the start all the time, and nothing works out. And every time you do it again, it's like, oh, here's another one. Oh, here's another one for the books, right? And it's like, where's Prince Charming? Where's Princess Charming? Where are these people that everybody else is happy about? Now here I am finding the worst of the worst that's left, right? And so, if that's you, and you're going through that, a lot of us have been there, myself included. And I've recognized that you will not find what you want when you're looking for it. You won't. Because those are the same people who run 20 dating sites and talking to 50 other people until you reach your tiers, right? Okay, now you can get my number or whatever. You can get my number, and you're like cycling them through. It's becoming this big little factory, right? Even though you're going on a date today, you have 50 others in the inbox. Keeping them on call, on deck, if you will, right? So if that's you, if you're going through that, right, the best step forward is to come off of the dating apps and everything else and try to figure out who you are. Who you are, what are you looking for, right? Because what you're doing is you're chasing other people who you believe, you have this perception that if you pounce on them and you trap them, that they'll make you happy, that they'll be the whimsical dream that you've always wanted, right? No. You recognize really quickly that nobody's ever going to check those boxes off. Nobody. You won't find anybody who will check every box. They don't exist because you've created that person in your mind, in your own mind. And now you're out there really trying to find it, and you can't because it doesn't exist. So you're disappointed every time. Every time. Oh, another one, another deadbeat, another one. Because you've concocted in your mind what this perfect person is without real understanding that life doesn't work that way, right? It's not real. That's not a real method to use at all. Because not everybody's going to have everything you want, right? I mean, you may, find, they're a great cook, they're whatever, but they don't hold my hand in public. That's a non-starter for me, right? But now you've just took away all the joy and experiences you could have learned and gained through the other strengths that might have been their weaknesses, the public display. And so because of your inflexibility, right, you don't have anything now. So, I mean, it comes to like, is this important? Is it not? Right? Is this important? Is it not? Only you can make those decisions. I'm not saying not to have criteria, not to have a high bar. And that's not what I'm saying. But some of us are so specific about some of these things that we look for in these people. Like, how many times will they FaceTime me? Will they do this? Will they do that? You know what? Sometimes at night, I don't want to FaceTime. No, I don't. No, it doesn't mean that I'm out dating somebody else. No, that's just your assumption. No, I just don't want to FaceTime, okay? I don't like the green beans, okay? Get over it. For real. So how to stop sacrificing yourself? Have you ever heard of the phrase, don't be a martyr? Have you ever heard of that phrase? Are you someone who feels like you always sacrifice yourself for the good of others and end up feeling stressed, underappreciated, not valued, resentful, and angry as a result? Have you considered that this is a role that you have given yourself? That it is a role that you have fallen into through bad teaching and misunderstanding of what healthy sacrifice is instead of unhealthy sacrifice? He goes on page 303, let me explain what I mean. Nearly everyone is taught that sacrificing your desires, your time, your dreams, and even your happiness for others is kind, noble, loving. And that saying no to others, putting your needs and desires equal to or in front of others, makes you selfish and bad. But this is muddled thinking that makes you a victim and destroys your self-esteem fast. The world is taught by default that you should give up the things that you want and that make you happy in order to make others happy. And that is This act of giving up your happiness should in some way preserve a way to make you proud and happy. So you sacrifice more and more until it becomes a habit that you stop even being aware of. You don't even notice yourself doing it. Until you are completely empty, with nothing left to give, miserable, worn out, which is the only end game of habitual, toxic self-sacrifice. The wickedness of this teaching is profound. You are taught that to be good, to be worthy, to be a decent person, be a good human, you must give up the things that matter to you most as a symbol of that worthiness and decency. There is a time and a place for sacrificing what you want for a greater good. There is. For those of you that love and care about. But this should be a clear, deliberate, careful, and conscious choice. You're not selling yourself down the river, okay? This should be a conscious choice. It's your time and resources that are on the line here, not theirs, when you say yes to something. Unconscious, unhealthy, it should involve you balancing your own goals, needs, and desires, getting met with supporting those you love in getting theirs met. So this is conscious, healthy sacrifice, right? Unconscious, unhealthy sacrifice is when you become a martyr by accident or design, where you don't give yourself any space or priority for your needs and desires to be met, to pursue your goals, to go after those things which fill you up, where you, by default and as a matter of routine, push what you want off to the side so that you can get the other people's stuff done first. Now remember, I talked about that. And I said, when we say yes all the time, right, we're adding to our responsibilities, taking away from others, but what we're taking away is from the stuff that we need to do for us, for our goals, for our deadlines, for our jobs, for our stuff, right? Because we're busy saying yes to everyone else because we want to be kind, we want to be there for them, we want to be a good friend, a good colleague, a good human, right? Give me your tire, give me your poor. Right? The old Christian saying, Catholic saying, built on that, right? Help thy neighbor. No. Not if that comes at a detriment to yourself. Never, ever, ever, ever say yes to someone else when it's saying no to you. Because saying no to someone else is saying yes to yourself. I mean, those of us, let's just think about it. Those of us who constantly are in this space, that are constantly saying yes or whatever, we're not good, okay? We're not good in the head at all. For multiple reasons. We're not comfortable with who we are. We're struggling with that. Our image, right? Everything else. Like when you are the yes man all the time, right? You need to check yourself. Big time. Because you're creating a distraction, a diversion from what you're going through, what's going on in your life, right? Because you think by saying yes, that will distract you, right? A couple of weeks ago, we talked about, feeling so confident. Lots of us feel very confident in the workplace, right? Very confident. Doesn't matter what we look like, what clothes we're wearing. When you know your job, you're good. You know your people, you're good. People come to you, you feel resourceful, you feel purposeful, you feel like you've served a purpose. But then when you leave work and you go home, no longer feel that confidence anymore. In fact, you regret it. But you wake up the next morning all chipper, put your thing on, get to work, and then you come home and it's like, there's no life. There's no life. You're running away from you. You're running away from loving you. You're not putting yourself first. You're overextending yourself in work because you feel confident there, but you feel less confident in the personal life. And that happens. Happens to a lot of us. But you need to recognize when you start saying yes too much and you start spending too much time at work, right? Like, we'll stay the extra whatever, but, when it comes time to, giving yourself 5 extra minutes or whatever, nope, you don't do that. You just out the door, whatever. But if your boss says stay for 5 minutes, of course you'll stay, right? My boss says, can you stay for 5 minutes? I look at my watch and I either say, I've got, other commitments that I got to do. Or if I actually have the time, I'll say yes. But I have no problem saying, no, I have other things I've got to run to. I apologize. Maybe tomorrow. And now I'm the king of my castle in that moment. I'm empowered in that moment. And I'm not going home thinking about what the hell they wanted to talk to for 5 minutes, because it doesn't matter. Because I chose to say, no, tomorrow would probably be better because I have things to do today. Sorry. But I'm not home worrying about what they had to talk about because I made that choice. Firmly. And then some of us will make the choice and then we're kind of like contemplating whether or not we should have made the choice. And then for like hours, we're thinking about, oh my God, maybe I should have done it. Or maybe I should have, oh my God. I mean, in that case, like, to save yourself from that kind of exhaustion, I would have said just stay the 5 minutes. Shit. I mean, because it wasn't worth ruining your whole evening, right? Delaying it. But there's a difference in those two scenarios, right? There's a difference. In my scenario, I put myself first. That's the difference. I made the decision. I said, no, today's not a good day. Nope. Sorry. I don't care who you are. You could be the president of the United States. I don't give a shit. If I don't have time, I have things to do, it's too bad. Too bad for you. Not too bad for me. I still got my stuff going on, whatever, but too bad for you that I wasn't at your beck and call. Oh well. Doesn't matter who you are. Feel that kind of importance. Doesn't matter what you do for a living. You could be a chef. You could be a hostess. Doesn't make you any less of a person. Nothing. The only way you can feel less than is if you allow it. And the only way you allow it is if you listen to the negativity. And we can't do that. We won't do that. Because I'm number one. And I ain't got time for this. This is high school drama. Who needs any of this in their life? I'm done with that. Done. Done, 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 done. How do you get there? How do you do it? Say yes to you. Stop ignoring your needs. Stop burying your feelings. And begin to share them. State them. Don't be afraid of them. It's not a weakness. It's not a weakness. It's only a weakness because society is saying it's a weakness. But who are you listening to? Yourself and your needs, or them? At what point do you become important? At what point do you become important over people you don't even know? That you're worrying about what they're going to say about when they know something about you and they don't even know you from Adam. Stop. Be you. 100% unapologetically you. I can assure you that in life, nobody cares about what you look like, the color of your skin, or any of that. They don't. What they do is they gauge whether or not they can prey on you or not. Who is going to be the predator and who is going to be the prey? It's about time you take your head out of the sand and you start seeing yourself for who you really are. That incredible, amazing human with a big heart who has purpose, who has opportunity to be anything that they do desire. But you can only do that if you pay attention to yourself first. There's no other way. There's no other way around it. None. None. There's only so much time in a day. There's only so much time in a week. And only so much time in a month. And as we get older, all of us know I could benefit from 4 extra weekend days. I could benefit from 3 extra working days. And I could certainly benefit from 7 extra hours of daylight on a day. But that's not the way it is. That's not the way it is. So I need to adapt. I need to be flexible. I need to recognize that not everything can be done in one day, and that it's okay that we don't have answers right away, right? But we need to train ourselves to not go crazy about trying to think about what that conversation was supposed to be or whatever, right? You can't be in 100 places at once. You just can't. There's only one of you. That's it. Only one. And you are precious. You matter. You're not a mistake. Definitely not. Always remember, you're beautiful, you are kind, you are worthy, and you mean something. And if you don't feel like you mean something to anybody, know that you mean something to me. Have a good night. I'll see you soon. We're going to get into this book next time we see each other for Empower Hour. Okay, be good, my peeps.